your English podcast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
Great to be diving into another topic.
Today, we're tackling something I think almost everyone learning a language runs into.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
That feeling of hitting a wall, the plateau,
Yeah.
and you just feel stuck.
Ah, yes. The dreaded plateau. It's incredibly common.
Exactly. So we've been looking at some really interesting source material, excerpts from a show, actually, focused on improving English.
And these excerpts dig into why that happens, why learners stall.
Precisely. And crucially, how to break through it.
Okay, so our goal here is to pull out the practical stuff, the actionable insights.
Yeah, to understand what the sources say is really going on when progress seems to stop and what you can actually do about it.
Sounds good. Let's get into it. So the core issue identified.
Right. The sources point out that after that initial buzz, that fast progress at the beginning,
When everything's new and exciting.
yeah, then you can hit this point where the gains feel tiny, lessons seem repetitive.
And you just feel like you're stuck spinning your wheels at the same level.
Mm-hmm. And they talk about this concept, the comfort habit.
Comfort habit. Okay, tell me more.
It's this idea that your brain, once it gets used to something, kind of seeks out the familiar. It settles in.
So it stops wanting the challenge.
Sort of, yeah. They use this example of it. Remember how hard those first few lessons felt?
Oh, definitely. Like my brain was melting.
Right. But later, those same questions feel, almost too simple.
Okay, I see where this is going. If you just keep doing the simple stuff.
Your brain gets comfortable, not challenged, and development just slows right down.
That initial spark turns into, well, just routine, like that personal story mentioned in the source.
So this comfort thing, is it mainly driven by using material that's too easy?
That seems to be a huge part of it, according to these sources, relying on, say, really simple cartoons or texts that are heavily adapted.
Because you understand it all easily.
Exactly. It feels productive, maybe, but it's not really stretching you. It's not forcing your brain to learn new words or handle trickier sentences.
So easy content is like comfortable quicksand.
That's a good way to put it. The sources contrast like an easy video versus something more informative, maybe slightly harder to follow.
The easy one just confirms what you already know.
Right. While the slightly harder one pushes you, it forces growth. Easy stuff is comfy, but it doesn't build muscle, so to speak.
And it's not just about reading or listening, is it?
Yeah.
The sources mention something about imbalance.
Yeah, the imbalance between knowing about the language, like grammar rules, and actually using it. Practical application.
So you can know all the rules, but if you don't speak or write.
That knowledge stays kind of theoretical. It's not functional, not really part of your active skill set.
Okay, so what's the fix then, according to the sources?
Well, no huge surprise here. Practice. Active use.
Like forcing yourself to produce language.
Exactly. They mention things like keeping a diary in English, maybe writing letters, joining conversation clubs.
We're just talking more with friends, making it a daily thing.
Even if you feel stuck, you gotta keep using it. They do mention going back to basics sometimes to solidify the foundation.
But the key is combining that theory with actual live communication.
Absolutely. Which leads right into the next big point. the need to challenge yourself.
Right. If you stick to the easy exercises, the ones you can already do,
Your progress just stops, development stalls. The sources are really clear on this.
so you have to actively seek out harder tasks.
Gradually, yes. Increase the difficulty. Try new topics. Read more complex articles. Jump into discussions, even if you stumble a bit.
Stumble a bit. That implies it might feel uncomfortable.
And that's crucial. The sources suggest that discomfort, that little bit of stress or struggle, is actually necessary for growth.
Like exercise. No pain, no gain.
Sort of, yeah. They give this example of reading a really complex article. It feels tough, maybe frustrating.
But that feeling is the sign that you're actually leveling up.
That's the idea. That's the feeling of your brain adapting, growing.
Okay, so how do you know if you're stagnating? If your materials are too easy?
The signal, they say, is pretty clear.
Yeah.
If everything feels easy, consistently easy.
No new words popping up, no tricky sentences.
Right. Or if you realize you're always consuming the same kind of content, the stuff you know you can handle without much effort.
That's the red flag. Time for a change.
Yeah, it means you need to constantly check in with yourself. Ask, is this pushing me? Am I actually learning something new or just reinforcing old stuff?
And the solution is diversity. Trying different things.
Definitely. Moving from simple chats to maybe discussing the news or even more abstract topics. Using original books, not just adapted ones, maybe taking a more advanced course or seminar.
Constantly reassessing what difficult means for you right now.
Exactly. Keep moving the goalposts.
So getting over the plateau. It's natural to hit one, but you can't just wait it out passively.
No, you have to fight back actively. And the sources give concrete strategies.
Like setting specific goals.
Yeah, tangible goals with deadlines. For example, I want to learn and be able to use 100 new words related to technology this month.
Okay, something measurable.
And self-checking. Being honest about what's working and what's not. Being willing to change your methods if they aren't pushing you anymore.
And, importantly, viewing mistakes differently.
Yes. Seeing errors not as failures, but as proof you're trying something challenging. They're signals of growth, in a way.
It all comes back to constantly challenging yourself, pushing past that comfort zone.
Using feedback maybe from language apps, tests, online courses, not just to see your score, but to figure out where you need to push next.
It's about that consistent, conscious effort. Boosting your English, as the sources say, sort of little by little, day by day.
Right. Those daily habits make a huge difference.
Okay, so wrapping this up. The key takeaways from these sources seem to be, first, recognize that cozy comfort habit for the trap it can be.
Yeah, be aware of it. Then actively seek out and even embrace a bit of challenge, a bit of that productive discomfort.
And prioritize using the language speaking.
Yeah.
Writing, not just passively absorbing it.
Definitely. Set clear goals you can actually track. And keep checking in. Is it still hard enough? Do I need to switch things up?
Relentlessly assess and adjust your approach.
It really paints a picture of continuous learning.
It does. And maybe, just maybe, the real sign of progress isn't hitting some label like B2 or C1. But maybe it's that feeling of constantly being at the edge of your current understanding, seeking out that next challenge.
So viewing that discomfort not as, oh no, I'm struggling, but as, okay, this is what growth actually feels like.
Exactly. A bit of a mind shift, perhaps, food for thought.